Greg Jennings came out and was talking about Cordarrelle Patterson and saying that he has a definitive step, quote unquote. Jennings says Patterson has a definitive step, and he describes it as an aggressive move, an aggressive step at the top of his route that creates separation. Now, I'm going to read to you the quotation from Jennings so you can get a better sense of what he was talking about. I remember coming out, I had that definitive step that kind of gets washed out because everything they teach you is that they want everything to look the same. The definitive step starts to kind of fade away, but that's what creates that separation. I just told him, do not lose that, because the more I see him do that, the more I remember when I used to do that and create so much, even more separation. I'm starting to creep that back in. By that he means use the definitive step back in his game. And so what he's talking about is coaches try and train receivers, especially young receivers, to run all routes the same, meaning they all look the same until you actually break your route and do the route you're supposed to, so that defenders can't get a hint of what type of route it is. I know from playing that there's certain receivers that have a tell at the line of scrimmage, that just the way that they compose themselves, or their posture at the line of scrimmage gives away what type of route they're going to be running. And so I have an edge on that because I know exactly where they're going to be going. Of course, I don't tell who they are because I want to keep that edge. But that's sort of what the coaches are trying to do by training receivers to run the routes all the same, so they don't give away that tell. It's really hard to understand what Jennings is talking about by describing the definitive step unless you actually see it in action, and you can. There's a handful of clips on the Vine clips that I mentioned earlier at MinnesotaVikingsChat.com, where I've compiled them all. If you scroll down to the Cordarrelle Patterson clips, you can see the first one where at the top of his route he makes that definitive step, and once you see that clip, you'll understand exactly what Jennings is talking about. Wrap up with a self-promotion plug. I have another podcast called Beyond Social Media. It's a marketing podcast, marketing communications, public relations, advertising. That's my profession, that I do every week with my colleagues and co-hosts, Albert Marugi and B.L. Ockman, and we talk about all things communications. And you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/BeyondSocialMedia. We are doing that as a Google Hangout as well, just like this Vikings Chat podcast. We had been doing it on Blog Talk Radio as an audio only, but now we're doing it as a video podcast, and you can see them again at youtube.com/BeyondSocialMedia. This week, I talked about Robert Kraft's allegation, the New England Patriots owner, his allegation that Russian leader Vladimir Putin stole his Super Bowl ring. So you can see a video clip on that, and I'll include the links to those videos in the show notes below. You can see my description of what I think is the ultimate in-stadium mobile app. It's awesome. It doesn't exist, but I'd love to say it exists. So if you're a developer, contact me. Maybe we can figure out how to make a fortune off of this. But it's my description of what I'd love to see as a fan for an in-stadium mobile app. And then finally, I list some numbers, some statistics from a survey of America's favorite sports, which sports America's hold as their favorites, and ranking. And hint, you're in the majority. And how Americans follow their sports that they love, and so you can see all that. Again, links are all in the description below. If you have any comments, or you have any opinions, or whatever, I'd love to hear your feedback. Leave them in the comments below. Make sure to like this video if you like it. Share it with your social media networks. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Twitter. Share it on Google. Email it to friends if you want. And be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss any of these videos at Minnesota Vikings Chat. And for that, that's the wrap. Until next week, go Vikings!